9:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. My name is Chris Hand. Oh, man, we are inching closer and closer to that Christmas break. Can you feel it?
Woo! Oh, yeah. Excited.
Are you excited?
I am.
I'm excited, too.
It'll be great.
It's going to be awesome.
Family, presents. Be good.
Yeah. Went to church last night.
Oh, nice.
That was awesome.
Heck yeah. Were they doing some Christmas worship?
Whole Christmas Eve thing at World Outreach Church. Pastor Alan Jackson, great. If you don't have a church that you're going to and you need a service to head to, highly recommended World Outreach Church in Murfreesboro. Fantastic. The whole lobby was like littered with like amazing Christmas stuff. They had grand pianos playing. There was a girl playing like a huge harp, like this golden harp. And she was young, too. I mean, she couldn't have been older than her like teens, like maybe like 16, 17. I've never seen somebody play like a huge harp like that in person.
That's so cool.
It was so cool. My kids were hypnotized watching it. If you're looking for a church for Christmas, highly recommend World Outreach. Real quick, before we get the show started, I want to say happy birthday to my mom. It is her birthday. She's
yay
24.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, yes.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
Every year, it just one ticks off. I don't know how she does it. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I just want to start that. I did do a front sell during the gang about a woke trash warning. So we go from really happy to really disturbing quick. So I apologize. We're going to do that 180. Cocomelon, you ready for this? It's the latest woke trash warning.
Okay. Ready. Hit me.
Netflix Cocomelon blasted for episode showing boy dressing up in girl's clothes to dance around for his two gay dads.
What?
Yep. This is like, so I don't know if you know anything about Cocomelon.
No.
And I say this as a warning because everybody's values are different. Maybe somebody wants to see the two gay dads and the boys dressing up in dresses and dancing. Like, there's something for you. I just bring it up because we have Christmas coming up. You're going to have different families convening on the same household. And if you're in the next room and you just hear kids' songs, you may not realize the indoctrination that's going on with Netflix Cocomelon. But Netflix has come under fire because a recent episode of, and this is its most popular children's show, Cocomelon. It's the spin-off version, Cocomelon Lane, which is how they always do it. They get you lulled into a version that you're okay with, and then they do a little spin-off and make it woke. Cocomelon Lane features a young boy dressing up as a girl dancing for his two gay dads. A lot of people are up in arms about this. Cocomelon Lane is produced by Moonbug Entertainment. It's the most popular show on the streaming service for babies and toddlers ages 2 and up. But they're not indoctrinating your kids, right? The episode in question features a young boy dancing around the room in a dress for the approval of his two homosexual fathers who tell him, just be you. The young boy is trying to decide whether he should wear boy or female clothing while they sing to him, just be you. Until he ultimately says, I'll do the tutu and tiara. It's also tiresome. It really is. And the son smiles, gets heaps of praise as he replies, I'll just be me, while putting on the feminine attire. Again, this show is for viewers ages 3 to 5. The clip in question is from episode 8. After a scene of the episode made its way to Twitter, people started flipping out. Now, full disclosure, I don't have Netflix. I canceled that a long time ago. But that's why I bring it up. We're going to be going to different families' houses. We're going to be hanging out with different cousins and friends and family members, and somebody might have Netflix. Maybe grandma has Netflix, and you're not a Netflix guy, so you go to grandma's and, hey, yeah, put on the kids' show with the singing about the wheels on the bus and things. Well, they'll get to episode 8, and the indoctrination will kick in. Matt Walsh took to Twitter and said, Netflix needs the full Bud Light treatment for this. I agree. The Daily Wire has pretty good kids programming with Bent Key. My kids honestly really enjoy the shows on Bent Key. If you're looking for safe kids programming this holiday season, I would suggest Bent Key. I would also suggest Yippee. Yippee is like a Christian version of Netflix, and Bent Key is just non-woke, good cartoons for kids. My kids love it, honestly. This is why we need to really lean into conservative platforms that are bringing us good content, because people like Netflix are more focused on woke indoctrination. And the Post-Millennial has had this story, and their editor-in-chief, Libby Emmons, says there's only one reason to encourage your boy child to wear girls' clothes, and it's not to encourage self-expression. Unbelievable. Now, this show, Cocomelon Lane, debuted on November 17th. This is like the spin-off of Cocomelon. And with new storylines and tunes, Cocomelon Lane is the first dialogue-driven installment of the Cocomelon franchise. And the objective of this new spin-off is to dive into real-life experience and events by the means of its characters. It's woke trash. It's indoctrination. And they sneak it in, and they wait for you to fall asleep at the wheel as a parent, and then they sneak in the woke stuff. Now, this isn't the first time Cocomelon has been under fire. The original Cocomelon was exposed for basically making your kids addicted to it. And there's a reason for that. Kids are becoming addicted to this program because of how quickly it changes scenes. This went viral over the spring. Cocomelon changes scenes so fast, and it's meant to be fast-paced. So this went viral on TikTok, an episode that shows an average of each scene in Cocomelon is just 1 to 2 seconds, meaning that children are constantly gripped and unable to turn away and get distracted because the show is so fast-paced. Now, a TikTok went viral over the spring, got like 4 million views, and people are like, is this overstimulating for the kids' brains? It is, and it's almost the same as using a drug. And people wonder why your kids are being raised and they have no attention spans. Cocomelon is one of the things to blame. There was an article from Evie magazine recently looking into the theory about Cocomelon being addictive, and when they spoke to child development specialists, they didn't disagree with the conclusion. An early childhood expert, Jerica Sanz, Development and Education, claimed the show is not only overstimulating, but it was also likely to cause behavioral problems and attention disorders. She said Cocomelon is so hyper-stimulating that it acts as a drug, a stimulant. The brain receives a hit of dopamine from screen time, and it seems that the stronger the drug, the stronger the hit, she told the publication. She explains how strong of a dopamine hit can cause a child's brain to experience symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, resulting them in lashing out when it's time to switch it off. Have you noticed that when your kids watch Cocomelon? Full disclosure, my kids don't watch Cocomelon, and I'm not trying to say like I'm like a great parent. We all have our shortcomings, but we just don't have Netflix. I've never really watched the show, and this was on my radar a while back, but it's on my radar again, and I felt the need to bring it up because, again, as you're going into Christmas and you're hanging out with family, there's going to be that one family that doesn't have the same viewing habits that you do. And if their kids are addicted to Cocomelon, well, your kids could become addicted to Cocomelon. And that's not a good look, because by episode 8 of the new season of Cocomelon Lane, you got 2 gay dads and boys dancing around in dresses. To each their own, but in my house, we celebrate a Christian worldview, and that doesn't really line up. Now, people say that, they disagree with it, but then they also say that their kids are speech delayed. but can sing songs that they hear on Cocomelon. Weird. Newsweek had an article, and it was from a parent. It said, Cocomelon made my kid a zombie. Cocomelon made my kid a zombie. Children's cartoon Cocomelon has become a huge online phenomenon with its catchy tunes and bold 3D animations, entrancing infants and toddlers. But parent Belle McCarthy told Newsweek that her toddlers became like zombies and almost mesmerized when viewing the show. She's not alone among parents who fear Cocomelon is responsible for their children's behavioral problem, including anger issues, ADHD, autism, and speech delay. This parent took to TikTok to share her experience alongside many other parents who felt the same way. The hashtag Cocomelon is bad has tons of views, with experts weighing in on the subject. Is Cocomelon bad for kids? A lot of people seem to think so. So I think that you should really do some internal, accounting and decide if this is happening with your kids. Do your kids like Cocomelon? Many parents are reporting addictive behavior in their kids, followed by tantrums when they attempt to wean them off the cartoon. Others attribute speech delays, missed milestones, neurodevelopment disorders such as ADHD and autism. They attribute it to Cocomelon. Now, granted, this is all anecdotal, and I don't have any real-life experience to lean in on this and give you my personal expertise. Kids throw tantrums when you turn off cartoons all the time. So I don't want to say that kids are hooked on this like it's heroin, and that's why they're throwing a tantrum. They could just be kids being kids. But it's definitely worrying enough that it's something that you should keep an eye on. That's what I would say. And definitely stay away from episode 8 of Cocomelon Lane if you, subscribe to a Christian worldview. And it's not just little kids that you need to worry about over Christmas break with woke trash. I got something for teenagers, too. Microsoft went full woke. Spoiler alert. Microsoft Word has added a woke feature that issues warnings when words are written that aren't inclusive in nature. This is also from the Post Millennial. The new software feature for Microsoft Word was brought to light by Elon Musk, who stirred up a debate on whether or not Microsoft is attempting to push a social narrative through its software programs. Microsoft now scolds you if you use words that aren't inclusive. So, you know how they do the little squiggly line when you spell something wrong or it's, the wrong word? So, Elon Musk tweeted a phrase that he wrote in about one of his cars, right? About one of his Teslas. He wrote, also, insane stability. Insane got an underline. And when you highlight it, it tells you, your suggestions. And it said, this was underlined for inclusiveness. This term implies mental health bias.
Wow.
That's what Microsoft is doing. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Additionally, the software presents perspective warnings to its users, suggesting alternative viewpoints if their input fails to conform to Microsoft's desired standards. In another image that Musk shared, the software had issued a warning to consider a different perspective. He wrote 11,000 pounds of towing capacity. It said, perspectives. Consider a different perspective. And then they said, how about you say about twice the weight of an elephant?
It sounds worse.
Doesn't that sound worse? The new feature was developed in 2022, but provides suggestions for references related to the following biases: age, culture, handicap, gender, race, socioeconomic status, mental health, and sexual orientation. So they're going to be policing your letters and your papers and your grocery lists. I need an insane amount of lettuce because we have a bunch of family coming over. I need to make a big salad. It's like, whoa. Chill out, bro. Could you imagine if somebody did that to you in real life? Just followed you around. It was like, hey, bud, gonna need more inclusive language.
Got to cool down a little bit.
Yeah. Don't use slang. Especially if it's considered cultural appropriation. Especially things like spirit animal. Don't do that. Unbelievable. The whole thing is insane.
Whoa.
Sorry. My bad. Oh, my gosh. Vivek Ramaswamy commented on this on Twitter as well. He said, the best way to control the mind of a society is to control its language first. Amen. And so, you can control the language, which the left always does, and indoctrinate the children, which the left always does. I think we provided plenty of examples for that. That's your woke trash warning this morning. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Mass murder reported in the Czech capital. Holiday travel update, major recall for Toyota and Lexus. These stories and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 9:24. Got a text here. Hold on, what'd it say? Oh, man, we get so many texts. Oh, 8715. That was a stupid segment. All
right. Thank you.
And then I got a text from 1644. What is the name of the Christian cartoons you mentioned that your children watch at? Well, we watch Yippee. And they got, what does Yippee have that they really like? I mean, it has a lot of the VeggieTales stuff. It has, man, there was one that they really do like on Yippee. They don't watch too much TV. I will tell you on Bent Key, my 6-year-old boy loves the Runes show.
Runes.
There's a bunch of dudes running around with swords.
Oh, that sounds sick.
Yeah, they like detective kids. Detective Kid on that, which is fun.
Yeah,
he just goes through like the history of products. This young kid.
Oh,
and sick. Then Chinchilla. I think that's the name of it. But Listen, I will give you a trigger warning, especially if you're liberal. It's a nuclear family with a strong father figure, so it's not for everybody. Oh, my gosh. People say Bluey is the bomb, 8838. You know, Bluey, we don't watch Bluey, but I know a lot of people that do, and I've kind of looked into it. Bluey is another kid's show that has a strong father figure. So, I don't know. I haven't watched it enough to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. A lot of my kids' friends really do like it. I haven't heard really anything bad about it. Have you heard anything bad about Bluey?
You know, I'm not hearing a lot about kids shows
Really?
amongst my friends.
You're not a Bluey fan?
No, not a Bluey viewer.
Oh, if he was a Chiefs fan, you'd know all about it.
Yeah, I know everything.
8394 said, is Cocomelon by any chance made in or owned by China? Probably. We cannot confirm or deny, but it sounds like it. People are saying they love Bluey. I mean, what are non-woke kids shows that your kids watch? And a lot of the times I bring this stuff up because grandparents are going to be hanging out with grandkids. It's very easy to put on a young kid's show and not think much about it and walk away. And then you're cooking Christmas dinner and, you know, a couple episodes go by and then, oh, there's the kid in the dress and you don't even know. Crazy. But yeah, somebody, 4076 said, just avoid TV. Bingo. But there is, you know, when you avoid TV, they're rewriting books too. Remember, we talked about this a few weeks back. I mean, it was probably a couple months back now. They're rewriting Roald Dahl's books. Do you remember that story that we had?
Yep.
To be more inclusive. I'll pull that up real quick. How do you spell Roald Dahl? I don't know how you spell Roald.
Oh, good question. Rolled, R-O-L-D.
They're rewriting his books. Yeah. So they're James and the Giant Peach is getting rewritten in the witches in James and the Giant Peach. Instead of using old hags, they've been replaced by old crows. The cloud men in James and the Giant Peach have become cloud people. Like, so even you know, you can avoid TV and you're still going to find this woke stuff creeping into your life. So it's like, I feel you on avoiding avoiding TV in general, but you do still have to be careful if you don't do TV because they're rewriting literature in front of our eyes, you know? So, Adventure Agents is really good, somebody said. Teaches kids about good morals and camping and living off the land and having respect and love for everything and everybody. That's from 4266, first-time texter. I've not seen Adventure Agents. I don't know what channel that's on. Jason coming in with a hot one, and I love this. And I'll tell you this before we go into it. My daughter watches 2 out of 3 of these. Jason said, Andy Griffith's Show, Cosby Show, Little House on the Prairie. Little House on the Prairie is a banger. I don't know if you know that. You big Little House on the Prairie fan, Mac?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. Yeah. Classic. Some
8212 said that chick that directed Barbie is going to do C.S. Lewis Narnia with a sad face.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Wow,
fact check that for me. Right after you fact check Snow.
Still pending.
Yeah. So he said, so I guess you, somebody's trolling me, 9821. So I guess you're up for Manly Man of the Year. Why? Because I don't want woke kids shows that make me a manly man. I don't know. Just trying to be a good dad, bro. Sorry, man. Sorry. 4076. My kids have watched all the seasons of Little House on the Prairie multiple times. It's a good show. I love how the liberals text in just to be divisive. How dare you not want your kids to watch woke TV shows?
Yeah, Greta Gerwig is going to make 2 Narnia movies for Netflix.
Oh, yeah, C.S. Lewis. I'm sure he loves that. 6739 coming in with a hot troll. He says, I let my youngins watch Blazing Saddles. How about that? How about that for wokeness? It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. First day of winter. Full forecast in 2 minutes. We're monitoring reports that say people have been killed in a shooting in downtown Prague. The Czech police there say a unspecified number of dead and wounded, and the person who opened fire has been eliminated. This again in the Czech Republic. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says lines were long this morning at Nashville International Airport, but they were moving.
TSA says today will be one of the most crowded days at airports all across the country, and earlier this morning we definitely saw that here at BNA. And so if you're traveling, make sure you brace for a busy day.
Weather could affect flights nationwide. Southern California getting soaked right now in a slow-moving storm. If you drive a newer model Toyota or Lexus, there's a large-scale recall being announced. Over 1 million 2020 to 2022 Avalons, Camrys, Highlanders, our RAV4s, Siennas, Corollas, and Lexus ES250s, RX250s airbag sensors may not work in a crash, so you'll be notified in the coming months, and Toyota and Lexus dealers will inspect and replace the sensors if needed. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey folks, Paul Winkler here. When we get to retirement, what do we want to do? We want to go and kick back, right? But we also want to take an income from our investment portfolios. And there are a lot of common myths that I hear about how do you take an income from an investment portfolio. One is that people will get into, this was really big a few years ago, really big, real estate investment trust. Now, real estate gets rented and it kicks off an income, and then you have some kind of dividend that's paid, and because the REIT has to pay out most of the dividend, it's a great way to take income in retirement. But what happens, like what happened recently, when all of a sudden the properties go unrented? What happens to your income? Bye-bye, it's gone. Another thing that I see is this: people buy stocks or stock mutual funds that are dividend paying, and what we'll do is we'll live off the dividends. Well, what is the dividend? It's part of the earnings of the company. So you got the earnings of the company, right? And then what happens is the company may pay out some of the dividend, and they call that a dividend when they pay it out, or they may retain some of it, and it's called retained earnings. Well, the problem is this: what if the company's earnings go down? Just like the real estate investment trust up here, what if the earnings go down? What happens to your dividend? It goes away. All of a sudden, it's bye-bye to your retirement income. So what do we want to do? We want to diversify way better. If you look at the academic research on investing and how to take income from a portfolio, quite often what it is saying, okay, I'm going to have some money in various asset classes. Large companies, small companies, value companies, growth companies, international companies, short-term bonds and intermediate bonds, and so on and so forth. And what I do is I look at these different areas of the market, and they have a historic return. And what happens if the portfolio does, this area of the market does better than this one? Well, in that particular year, I'm going to take income from this part of the portfolio. Then the next year, maybe this area does better than everything else. I'll take income from there. So what I'm doing is diversifying, which is an age-old concept. I mean, good grief, Nobel Prize winning concept of investing. And I actually apply it to taking income from a portfolio. So why is it that we often see this kind of stuff? It's because of the fees and the commissions and all of the incentives to sell you things that maybe aren't in your best interest. And a lot of advisors, you look at it, they aren't held to a fiduciary standard. In other words, they don't have to keep your best interest first. Paul Winkler, Inc., we hold ourselves voluntarily to that standard, and we actually disclose it in our disclosure brochures. So if you want to know more about what we do and learn more and educate along the way, go to paulwinkler.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone call so that you can learn more, become an educated investor. First step is easy. paulwinkler.com, free 15-minute phone call, and get started ASAP, because you can't afford to wait. You've got to make sure you get this right. You don't get a second shot.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Sometimes I wish they left the cameras and the mics on during
Yes,
the break.
Exactly. Me too.
Because me and Mac, we just go at it. I don't know if you guys know this. I love Mac with all my heart.
Of
But
course.
he's wrong about so much. And it has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
the conversation was so far away from politics, and I'm just roasting him, and he doesn't agree with me.
Vice versa.
I don't feel like I was roasted at all, but
Oh, okay.
whatever. Listen, you know who you reminded me of when we were arguing?
Yes.
Nikki Haley.
Oh,
Yeah, because Nikki Haley's losing horribly, and she's asked about Trump, and she's like, "Well, I don't need the judges because I'm gonna beat him on my own." Like that's how I felt you were treating me. It's like, okay, you're wrong. I admire your confidence, but LOL.
Do you think that this is an injustice, this Colorado decision, and do you think it's wrongly decided by this court?
Thank you, Martha. I think this is, it goes back to our country being in disarray. The idea that judges are going to take it upon themselves to decide who can and can't be on the ballot is truly unthinkable.
True.
And I think the people of Colorado should be furious.
True.
I am going to defeat Donald Trump on my own.
Oh, jump the shark. She was on such a good roll, and then she jumped the shark.
I am going to defeat Donald Trump on my own.
LOL. Even Governor Sununu, who endorsed you out of New Hampshire, is already rolling that take back. Oh, well, it's going to be voter turnout if Nikki Haley doesn't beat Trump. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
I am going to defeat Donald Trump on my own.
By myself. I'm a boss.
I don't need a judge to go take him off the ballot.
Okay.
I don't think he should be president. I think I should be president. I think our country would do a lot better if I was.
Well, I think, the military-industrial complex would do a lot better if you were president, Nikki Haley. I'm sure Lockheed Martin and Boeing would be doing a lot better if you were president, Nikki Haley. But LOL, my friends. It's the best I can give you. LOL. I don't really take Nikki Haley serious. Do you take Nikki Haley serious? I think she's a joke. She's a joke. All right. Well, as we talked about yesterday, with this Trump ballot removal, we're already seeing Trump's polling going up. In fact, Frank Luntz, big pollster, says Donald Trump is more likely to beat Biden after the Colorado ballot removal. Yep, we all kind of saw that coming. Because people don't believe what's happening is fair. People don't believe what's happening is honest. And they see right through these politically charged moves, indictments, ballot removals. It's a joke. And Trump will absorb these blows and only grow stronger. We know that. We do. It's wild to think that anything else is going to happen. Gutfeld was kind of touching on this last night, and he made a great point. This is Greg Gutfeld on how they're attacking Trump.
All right. The Dems aren't learning. The more they push Trump away, the closer he gets. He really is like booze to the Dems, who are all full-blown Trumpaholics, right? And what do Trumpaholics do? They hide bottles all over the house, hoping no one will see it. But the obsession only grows. They put Trump here. Let's put him over there. But then he just pops out, and it's just, you just need it more than ever. It makes him just more exciting. He doesn't have to say or do anything. In fact, that would be my advice to him. Let these crazy people elect you. The more unhinged and old the Dems sound about Trump, the more punk rock, the more rap, the more metal Trump becomes. He's like a mix of the Sex Pistols, Public Enemy, and Metallica, all rolled into one. He's America's bad boy, and he should just let them do all the work and sit back and regain the White House.
And he's absolutely right. You see the younger voters are aligning with Trump. You see a lot of the Gen Z males are going full conservative because when you rebel nowadays, you're rebelling against the system. And the system right now is woke leftists and, commies. And people are against it. And you see it in popular culture. We played this on the gang of 3 or 4 amigos. It's like there's a rapper, High Res, which he's awesome, this rapper. And he rails against the system in a lot of his music, but he's created this alter ego, Trump the Don, with artificial intelligence. And he creates these songs that are so counterculture that people gravitate towards him. And Trump is what Eminem was in the 90s. Oh my gosh, don't listen to him. He's terrible. Why would you do that? And everybody's like, well, I want to check it out. I kind of like it. And then you look at what's happening with rent prices, grocery prices. You got young people coming out of college in debt, and they go, yeah, this isn't it. They're waking up to the world around them. And they go, well, you tell me that this guy's bad, but he's actually kind of cool. Did you hear this yet, Mac?
No.
Biden's a schmuck, Nancy's corrupt, Hillary Clinton, she really sucks. My tweets were rude, Michelle's a duper, Rock is a cuck, Adam 22, Hunter's laptop, smoking some rock, guns in the trash, high on some crack, sleeping with thoughts, pay off the cops, bribe the Ukraine, give him a job. Elizabeth Warren is a native, she's fully white and hates it. Klaus is a clown, Maxine Water frowns, Billy Sabin, who knocked it down. Down with the rhinos and globalists and the fake news, they're full of free my dogs locked up. Gen 6, America first, no jihadist, fire AOC, and no more please with Shida to leave. Hope that you leave. Down with the squad, election fraud, the climate change nonsense and junk. Kerry and Greta Thunberg are always fear-mongering to you and me. Do some words for Xi Jinping, Leah Thomas has a ding-a-ling. Don't go paddleboarding in Mother's Vineyard with Obama chef. Alex Jones is always right, Sean King is really white. Obama's gay, derail a train, East Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, Maui in flames, aliens on planes, in the West Wing, finding cocaine, Bonsai loses spins, Dylan is a trans, billions to Iran, shout out to my fan, Chuck Schumer is a loser, students being taught by groomers, Liz Cheney is a boomer, the left can't meme, no humor, Chris Christie, retire soon, you look like a Chinese spy balloon, monkeypox, get your COVID shots, Cardi B's WAP, riot for the cops, Trump Towers, Trump Steak 2, Trump water, Trump candle. You will own nothing and be happy, and you have no choice. Kamala Harris is BP for touching Willie Brown's pee-pee. Clinton was on the island with Jeffrey flying, bunch of underage girls. We know Bill Gates did as well. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Listen, this is the new counterculture. There's nothing that you can do to fight this. They says that this is from High Res the rapper, who's awesome. Awesome. He makes these counterculture songs. And Trump has counterculture. That's why he's winning over the young vote. That's why he's winning over the black vote. And it's not just the fact that there's counterculture. It's just real life stuff is backing him up. Biden sent out a tweet last night. And this guy is so out of touch with what people are actually thinking and feeling. Do you know what Biden tweeted last night? I mean, it was promptly ratioed. But he goes, this is a Biden tweet. I know he didn't write it himself, but his PR team did. Trump poses many threats to our country. The right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America's standing in the world. But the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. Okay, dude. You are so out of touch. This is why people are just fleeing the left. Let's go through it. The threats that Trump poses to the country, according to Joe Biden. Civil rights. Oh, hey, what party was the mayor that threw in a segregated Christmas party in a major city of Boston? Do you remember what party she was affiliated with? Oh, Democrats. Weird. Okay. All right. So civil rights. Got it. That's Trump. Weird. Voting rights. Hey, which party has activist judges removing Trump from the ballot? Oh, dang. Democrats again. Weird. And Laura Loomer posted a report that those judges were donating to Hillary Clinton and Obama's campaign. What a coincidence. All right, so that, voting rights, okay. America's standing in the world. Okay. America's standing in the world. Listen, did you hear the reports that North Korea says it's prepared to nuke America? Which president walked through the DMZ with no security and threatened little Kim over there, threatened him and basically made him tuck his tail between his leg? Was that Joe Biden? I can't remember. Was that Sleepy Joe that did that? No, you're right. That was Trump. Sleepy Joe was the one that left all the military equipment in Afghanistan. Weird. What a coincidence. The greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. The left is a joke, and people can see the lies in real time. They can. Biden sends a tweet out like that while 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We are 4 days away from Christmas. 62% of Americans. 62% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. This man is so tone deaf. And it's not even just him, because, again, his PR team did this. His PR team sent out this tweet. The people around him and in his orbit are tone deaf. Tone deaf. They want you to think that this guy is the man. This guy.
Across the country, wages for workers are up. Black wealth is up record 60% since the pandemic. So many of you, look, and by the way, I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart, we're just getting started.
Black wealth up 60%. I don't even need to fact check it. Like, just, you're lying. That's a lie. And he's got his clap squad in there. Did you hear the clap squad in the back?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Many of you, look.
I love that.
The clap squad was late, though. Like, they should have started right at the pause.
Up record 60% since the pandemic.
All right, cue the clap squad.
So many of you, look.
You know what I mean? They were late to the game. They want us to think that this guy is the savior of Western democracy.
We're doing it by building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Not a whole lot trickled down on my dad's kitchen table with the top down economy. But when when you increase the middle class, the poor have a shot and the wealthy still do very well. The middle class does well and we all do well. That's what we call Bidenomics.
Oh, Bidenomics is back. Did you catch that when you middle from the middle?
The up, down, top.
But when you when you increase the middle class.
Yep. When you middle from the middle, baby. Right. Biden 2024. Middle from the middle, baby.
But when you middle from the middle.
Oh, it's working. And they wonder why people are like, yeah, I'm going to roll with the orange man. I've seen enough of this middle from the middle.
But when you when you increase the middle class, the poor have a shot and the wealthy still do very well.
All right, thanks. Middle from the middle. That's it. 9:50. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang out with us. It's the Chris Hand Show.
Mass murder in Europe. Another major automaker announces a recall, the second one of the day. An FBI warning about gift cards. All this and more coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Getting a bunch of texts that there's a new meme. There's a new meme in town, boys. It's called Middle from the Biddle.
Middle from the biddle.
But when you're middle from the biddle,
I mean,
Middle from the biddle.
It's middle from the biddle, baby. Biden 24.
when you're middle from the biddle, when you increase the middle class, the poor have a shot and the wealthy still do very well.
All right.
Yeah, boy.
Middle from the biddle. The poor have a shot and the wealthy still do very well.
The poor have a shot.
That's what he said.
Poor have a shot. And
You got a shot.
You got a chance.
It's a shot in the dark, but you got a shot.
That's what happens when you middle from the biddle.
It reminds me of Dumb and Dumber when she's like, "So you're telling me I have a chance?"
Telling me there's a
But
chance.
when you're middle from the biddle, when you increase the middle class, the poor have a shot and the wealthy still do very well.
Yeah. So
That's that Bidenomics, boys.
you're telling me I got a chance. All right. It's working. All right. I got another text over here. 3504. 3504 texted in and absolutely roasted Nikki Haley. It's a joke so good that I wouldn't have been able to think of it. Said, Nikki Haley is the bad fantasy football team that got the easy schedule and made it to the playoffs.
Yes. That's so it.
Gosh.
Bingo.
Is there any better description of who Nikki Haley is?
That's so spot on. That's fantastic.
Nikki Haley is middle from the biddle. Oh, my gosh. All right. Oh, my God. Anthony says he'd take a shot. Anthony just texted in. He said, I'd take a shot on a Taco Bell fart before Bidenomics, boys. It's a little less risky.
I love it, Anthony. That's great.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, he also earlier said he was Team Mac. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that.
Team Mac.
Yes. Based.
Bingo.
Where's that block button everybody says we use on that super text line? the non-existent block button.
You can't shun Anthony.
Yeah, Jared texted and said, middle for the biddle for shizzle. All right.
Faux shizzle.
Yeah, 5411 texted. He said, Biden's starting to sound a little like Snoop Dogg.
But when you're middle from the biddle,
He is. He's losing the black vote in droves. So he's like, let me try some of that Biden ebonics.
but when you're middle from the biddle,
All right. Nailed it. All right. I've also gotten a couple texts. People were asking about the apps for kids for TV shows that I use with my kids. And, great last minute Christmas gifts if you need them. Yippee is one of the apps that I use, and BentKey. Good Netflix alternatives with non-woke programming that it's like, at least for me, you want to have your kids be able to have some discovery and some freedom with that remote control like we were able to do and, not see all sorts of woke nonsense. And you can't have that freedom when you're watching Netflix or Hulu. But those two apps are great, Yippee and BentKey. BentKey's from Daily Wire. My 6-year-old boy loves runes and detective kids on BentKey. But Yippie's totally safe, good Christian programming. And both of those apps will literally break it down by age, what's appropriate for who, and kind of, what audience they're going for. Highly suggest them if you got a gift you need to get for a niece, nephew, your kids, your grandkids. Get them a Yippee subscription or a BentKey subscription. Both are fantastic. The time is 10 o'clock. Ken Weaver standing by with the latest headlines on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories on this first day of winter. It is a little colder out there, but we're going to be warming up nicely for this time of year. Right now, we got a situation down in Murray County. 2 firefighters suffered burns battling a house fire. They were trying to protect others who were searching the home for possible victims when apparently part of that home collapsed. Those two firefighters, they're suffering burns there in Murray County. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. We're monitoring reports of a mass murder in the Czech Republic. Police have not given a specific number of dead and wounded, but they say the shooter is dead. This is at the university in Prague. That's the Czech capital city. Right now in this country, millions of cars affected by a recall by Honda and Acura. Honda's American arm recalling more than 2.5 million vehicles due to a fuel pump defect that can increase risk of engine failure or stalling while driving. The automaker says the fix will be free of charge to owners who will be notified starting this week. This is the second automobile recall announced today. Morgan Norwood reports.
That recall involves 15 different 2020 and 2021 Toyota and Lexus models. That includes the Toyota Camry, RAV4, and Sienna, as well as Lexus RX 350 and ES 350. Toyota says a short circuit in those vehicles' occupant classification systems could prevent the passenger side airbags from deploying properly, driving up that risk of injury during a crash.
Yeah, Toyota and Lexus owners will be notified in the coming weeks. And a warning from the FBI about gift card scams. And Aaron Katursky says, here's how you should protect yourself.
Gift card scams have been around for years, but the FBI says never at the volume they're seeing now. The FBI says look to see if the packaging seems tampered with, if there's a sticker over the scratch-off material. Buy gift cards kept behind a counter and save the receipts.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
.05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm trying to get through all these super texts.
It's hard.
Thank you for chiming in at 615-737-9986.
Oh, they're the best.
It seems like everybody really likes Middle from the Middle.
I mean, how can you not?
How can you not? I did get one text, and I'll read it to you. Because I think where this texter is coming from is a legitimate place. He says, I agree with what you guys are saying, but it seems to me when you turn your banter towards making fun of his speech issues, it's not doing anything but make you look like a bully. And I replied and said, you got to have fun. If you're angry about everything, you're angry about nothing. And at a certain point, when you hear things like middle from the middle,
But when you're middle from the middle,
mocking is a great way to go about it because it just exposes them. And the joke of a president that we have in the office, that this guy, yes, he's suffering from dementia. That's sad. It honestly is.
Yeah, but all his handlers say he's fine.
Well, and that's where I was going to go. To me, the most sad part about that isn't that he's suffering from dementia. It's that he has a wife that doesn't love him enough to say, it's time to go hang out with the grandkids on the beach.
Yep.
My wife would never hang me out to dry like that unless the dementia was so bad that I wouldn't be able to remember. I would assume. Maybe he's there. But 2021 responded back. I said the left has no humor and no fun. And 2021 responded. And listen, I don't want to seem like I'm knocking 2021. He said, I agree and I don't. We always point out that the left reverts to name calling or insults whenever they see that they are losing an argument. I just hate to see the good conservative Christian people revert to mockery and making fun of someone when Biden is doing plenty on his own to make us see what a joke of his presidency is. And I get where you're at, but would you rather me get on the air and just be angry about everything? How do we have this dementia-riddled president in the White House? How can we do this? There's so much to be angry about, and I'm just I'm not going to let him steal my joy. I'd rather mock him and point out what a joke this guy is. Maybe I'm going the wrong route, but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can and be myself. And me personally, I think it's better to have fun and joke about these things than, get angry. I don't know what else to do. This is just, it's my style. So I apologize if it rubs you the wrong way, but just how I do things. It's how you middle from the middle. So I can't believe he said that. You got a middle from the middle.
but when you're middle from the middle,
Middle from the middle. All right. So Trump has been removed from the ballot in Colorado. It is not going to stand. It's just not. His polling is already going up. Biden's 2024 co-chair, Senator Chris Coons, which this actually, you want to hear something? You want to hear me get angry? Senator Chris Coons, his daughter was sniffed by Joe Biden in the most uncomfortable way, and there's videos of it online, and this guy still holds water for the president. Senator Chris Coons isn't suffering from dementia. Senator Chris Coons just wants to hang on to power at all costs. And he went on record defending Trump being removed from the ballot. He said whether it's a court that determines he's unfit to hold office because he took up force against our Constitution or mobilized a mob against our Constitution or because the electorate throws him out, I don't think it really matters. If he's unfit to hold office, we should all be encouraged by any action that makes it less likely that he will return to the presidency. Wasn't Biden just tweeting last night that Trump poses the greatest threat to our democracy, and if we lose that, we lose everything? And then his co-chair goes on a talking head show and defends shredding the Constitution. And, I hate the Jan 6 narrative. Oh, Trump took up force against our Constitution. He mobilized a mob. Okay, really? Here's the thing. He didn't. There were feds in the crowd. Furthermore, Trump said, let's march on the Capitol patriotically and peacefully. He was miles away as violence was already starting. Violence that was ramped up by guys like Ray Epps. So you can say Trump started an insurrection, but he didn't. And I'll go a step further. If he wanted to, he could have. If Trump had gone on Twitter and said, I need every firefighter, police officer, veteran to take up arms, do you know what would have happened? an actual insurrection. And he didn't do that. He didn't. And that's all the evidence you need. Because had he gone that route, it would have been a very, very, very different day, I can assure you. And he didn't say that. He said we need to march patriotically and peacefully. It's an absolute joke. You know, I said yesterday, every activist, judge in the country and Secretary of State are going to be tripping over themselves to get Trump off their ballot because Colorado did this. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it now. You knew it was coming, but apparently the states of California and Maine are exploring options to keep Trump off their respective state ballots in the wake of the Colorado ruling. What an absolute joke. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows was reported to be seeking options on whether or not to exclude Trump from the state's primary ballot in March last week. For instance, attorneys seeking to bar Trump from the ballot argue with Trump's legal team at the state house hearing. So Maine, they've filed complaints saying he engaged in an insurrection. So now he's ineligible. So you got Maine. And in California, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, I'm probably butchering her name, sent a letter Wednesday to Secretary of State Shirley Weber to explore options on taking the former president's name off the ballot. Kounalakis cited the Colorado ruling, saying it is about honoring the rule of law in our country and protecting the fundamental pillars of our democracy. Isn't a fundamental pillar of democracy letting people vote? Not in California. She added that the court's decision can be the basis for a similar decision here in our state. The Constitution is clear. You must be 35 years old and not be an insurrectionist. It's such a joke. The man was never found guilty of leading an insurrection. He never will be found guilty of leading an insurrection. He never led an insurrection. The letter also said, California must stand on the right side of history. California doing California things. Is that shocking to you? It's not shocking to me. Also not shocking, Hollywood has rejoiced. All the Hollywood celebrities lining up to rejoice over the Colorado Supreme Court banning Trump from the ballot. Bette Midler said, "Thank you, Colorado." I mean, you got other celebrities, and I use air quotes, Rob Reiner, Mia Farrow, George Takei. They all broke out in jubilation. Jubilation, early Christmas gifts for everybody. When left-wing Hollywood is happy, you know that it's not the right move. Bette Midler says, "Thank you, Colorado." Rob Reiner tweeting, "The Colorado Supreme Court, stating the obvious, has ruled that Donald Trump, having engaged in an insurrection, be removed from the ballot and be barred from holding public office. Nice to see a little sanity poking its head up." Sanity. That's what these people want you to believe. Crazy. There were other celebrities who just, called for Trump's death in wake of this. And so, shocking. The party of tolerance. Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame, he couldn't contain himself. He said, "Breaking news, Colorado dumps Trump. The Supreme Court will decide whether the 14th Amendment means what it says or not. A chaotic campaign just got even more chaotic. Stay tuned." Stay tuned. Yeah, we'll be staying tuned for when the Supreme Court overturns this thing. Crazy. But of course the left is like, "Yeah, we did it. Woo." That's what they do. Tucker commented on the left's reaction to Trump being removed from the ballot.
Donald Trump's enemies celebrated. The Atlantic magazine expressed gratitude that unelected judges had, quote, rescued the country from the desires of voters. Because actually, that's democracy. And then there was Jenna Griswold. That's the Colorado Secretary of State. You may not have seen her before, but you will instantly recognize the category she represents.
He's about to roast the Colorado Secretary of State right here.
Unhappy 39-year-old liberal women with Ivy League degrees and a deep streak of authoritarian impulses. Here's Griswold on MSNBC last night explaining that a conventional legal process is no longer necessary for the left to get its way. No more trials or evidence or jury verdicts. An accusation made on television is now enough to remove a frontrunner from the presidential race. If Nancy Pelosi and Joe Scarborough call you bad, Americans are not allowed to vote for you.
He said an accusation made on television is enough to get you removed from a ballot. And that's all it is at this point. It's just accusations. The man has not been found guilty of anything. And I love what he says. If Nancy Pelosi and Joe Scarborough calls you bad, then you can't be president. Orange man bad, guys. Here's what the Secretary of State out of Colorado said.
Watch.
Look, I believe he incited the insurrection. There were big questions around Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and the Colorado Supreme Court has weighed in a very loud way, making themselves clear. Frankly, we've never had a president try to steal the presidency and engage in insurrection ever before.
She said, I believe he engaged in an insurrection. Frankly, we've never had a president try to steal the presidency before. With no evidence to back anything up. No guilty verdicts, none of that. No. Who has time for facts when you can feel it? Don't you feel it? Can't you believe it?
So Trump's actions are unprecedented. The Colorado Supreme Court confirmed that the district court got it right, that he did engage in insurrection. I think Section 3 of the 14th Amendment has to apply to the presidency, because if not, it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. And in
a get-out-of-jail-free card when you haven't been found guilty of anything. This woman should lose her office immediately. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
And in a country of laws where no man is above another, we can't have one office be able to do whatever they want when it comes to rebellion and then be able to be seated in office again.
She says as she gleefully allows the president to be removed from the ballot in Colorado. We can't have one office deciding these things, guys. By the way, I'm the Secretary of State, and I want Trump off the ballot. So thank you, Colorado Supreme Court. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's actually not shocking at all. Like, at the same time, we can say it's unbelievable. It's still not shocking at all. We knew that this was coming. And again, the judges, the 4 out of the 7 that voted to get him off the ballot, they have leftist ties that stretch far beyond their appointment by Democrat governors. Justice Melissa Hart donated to both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Justice Rich Gabriel accepted an award from the American Board of Trial Advocates, a group openly critical of President Trump. These guys have TDS. Justice William Hood said Trump is a poster child for an insurrection. With no evidence, no guilty verdict, just feelings, guys. If you feel it, it's true. It's ridiculous. Like this stuff, I can't get angry about this stuff. So going back to what 2021 said about, you can't mock everybody all the time. It's like, what else do we do with these losers? What else should we do with them? For me, I feel like mocking is a good route to go because what they're doing is an absolute joke. But what would you rather do? Like they're not going to take arguing with facts seriously. Like they're not going to let you state your case and then have their mind changed. Oh, sorry. I mean, like they don't deal in facts. They deal in virtue signaling. And they deal in feelings. So let's make them feel bad and laugh at them because they're all a bunch of losers. And I'm gleefully awaiting the Supreme Court to step in and say, nah, bro, not happening. And that's going to happen. As I said yesterday, Neil Gorsuch is the guy that's over Colorado. We were talking in the back. I said, I think I was talking with Charlie, the ops manager. He said, the Supreme Court's going to come back 9-0. I said, it'll probably be 8-1. Remember, Kintaji Brown is not a biologist, so I don't know if she can keep up with this one. It's 10:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Learning more details about that mass murder in Europe. Also in this country, holiday travel could be disrupted by weather. These stories and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I love the Stone Cold bumper music.
It's awesome.
You see?
Hype.
Did you see all the rumors about like The Rock might run for president? He was like meeting with the Pentagon guys.
That happening again? Are those rumors like circulating again?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, I mean, it was I think it was like a week or so ago.
Because I've heard that before.
I didn't really
in the
cover
past.
it because, like, the country's falling apart, so there's like more stuff to cover than The Rock. But it reminded me, the Stone Cold bumper music reminded me, and it's really cemented me as a Stone Cold guy. Way better than Dwayne.
You know what's crazy is The Rock would probably get a lot of votes.
You think so?
I mean, Kanye got a lot of votes.
Yeah.
A lot is a vague term, let's be clear.
Several.
Yes, several.
That's me and you have both interviewed Kanye.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
Isn't that weird?
That is very strange. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
He was always nice to me.
Yeah, he seemed nice.
Yeah.
Seemed strange, but I mean, I expected that.
Yeah, like
you interviewed him probably way before I did, though.
I interviewed
before
him.
he was super.
I interviewed
controversial.
Him. Well, it was like after the George Bush hates black people stuff.
Gotcha. So yeah, he's I guess he's been controversial for a minute.
Yeah, he's been controversial for a while. But I guess was that good controversy? I
don't know. Yeah, he's been everywhere. Yeah,
I feel like there's a difference between like George Bush hates black people and Jewish people run the world controversy. It's like there's levels to it, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know how to spin out of this one, but yeah. Hey, did you hear? Did you hear Xi warned Biden that Beijing is going to take Taiwan?
Oh wow! At least he gave him the warning.
Yeah,
nice guy.
That was right around the same time that they cleaned all the human poop off the streets of San Francisco in about a day and a half, and had a plan to not have fentanyl pouring across the border, or at least that's what Biden said. Yep, it's crazy. Like we have such a weak leader in office that North Korea is threatening to nuke us again. And China's like, yeah, dude, we're taking Taiwan, so deal with it, bro. Yep. It's the truth. NBC News is reporting this. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, Himalayan salt. Chinese President Xi Jinping bluntly told President Joe Biden during their recent summit in San Francisco that Beijing will reunify Taiwan with mainland China, but that the timing has not yet been decided, according to 3 current and former U.S. officials. Xi told Biden in a group meeting attended by a dozen American and Chinese officials that China's preference is to take Taiwan peacefully, not by force. Chinese leader also referenced public predictions by U.S. military leaders who say that Xi plans to take Taiwan in 2025 or 2027, telling Biden that they were wrong because he has not set a time frame, according to the 2 current and 1 former official briefed on the meeting. I mean, why would he wait? Have you seen the polling? Trump is up. Why would he wait? Like, I would imagine that this is going to happen sooner rather than later. Because Joe Biden doesn't pose any kind of threat to anybody. Like, nobody takes him serious. China officials also asked in advance of the summit that Biden make a public statement after the meeting, saying that the U.S. supports China's goal of peaceful unification with Taiwan and does not support Taiwanese independence. The White House rejected the request. They were probably shocked that the White House rejected that request because Biden bends the knee to China every opportunity he gets. It's the truth. The revelations provide previously unreported details about a critical meeting between the 2 leaders that was intended to reduce tensions between their countries. Xi's private warning to Biden, while not different from his past public comments on reunifying Taiwan, got the attention of U.S. officials because it was delivered at a time when China's behavior toward Taiwan is seen as increasingly aggressive and ahead of a potentially pivotal presidential election in the self-governing Democratic island next month. After the initial publication of the story, Senator Lindsey Graham issued a statement calling for Republicans and Democrats to work together to deter China. Yeah, Lindsey Graham's like, whoa, we can sell some weapons, bro. let's do it. Jeez. Like, I don't know. I'm so sick of getting in other conflicts. Like, I get that you don't want China to expand, but like, can we deal with the border first? It's such a joke. We're going to find ourselves dragged into another global conflict over this. And the reason we're going to find ourselves dragged into another global conflict is because of the weakness in the White House.
Don't.
No, I'm going to. You can't middle from the biddle your way out of this one, pal. I mean, yo.
I'm not going nuts.
You are.
But when you middle from the biddle.
When you middle from the biddle. I mean, like, this is the stuff. It's like, oh, we can't mock him. It's like, well, look at him. Look at what he's doing to this country. Downright depressing. Like, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver.
10:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a traffic problem on I-24 westbound right there at Harding Place. A crash has the left 3 lanes blocked. Right now, the delay is 17 minutes. Right now in Europe, a shooting in the Czech capital of Prague has killed a number of people, wounded others. More from Tom Rivers at the Foreign Desk.
Police have sealed off Jan Pollock Square in the old part of the city, site of the shooting at a school there. The philosophical faculty of Charles University has been evacuated. The Czech Interior Minister says the person who opened fire is dead.
Now, the Czech Rescue Service says at least 10 people were killed. Right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says there have been long lines at the checkpoints at BNA today on what the TSA says will be one of the busiest travel days for Christmas. Meanwhile, the weather on the West Coast could be a disruption nationwide.
2 major storms hitting California just over the past 48 hours, the first of them bringing about 6 inches of rain in parts of Northern California, the Bay Area. We've seen some significant flooding there, people sandbagging around their houses, some downed trees. And here in Southern California, around the Oxnard area, a number of high water rescues.
Matt Gutman reporting. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey folks, Paul Winkler here. When we get to retirement, what do we want to do? We want to go and kick back, right? But we also want to take an income from our investment portfolios. And there are a lot of common myths that I hear about how do you take an income from an investment portfolio. One is that people will get into, this was really big a few years ago, really big, real estate investment trust. Now, real estate gets rented and it kicks off an income, and then you have some kind of dividend that's paid, and because the REIT has to pay out most of the dividend, it's a great way to take income in retirement. But what happens, like what happened recently, when all of a sudden the properties go unrented? What happens to your income? Bye-bye, it's gone. Another thing that I see is this: people buy stocks or stock mutual funds that are dividend paying, and what we'll do is we'll live off the dividends. Well, what is the dividend? It's part of the earnings of the company. So you got the earnings of the company, right? And then what happens is the company may pay out some of the dividend, and they call that a dividend when they pay it out, or they may retain some of it, and it's called retained earnings. Well, the problem is this: what if the company's earnings go down? Just like the real estate investment trust up here, what if the earnings go down? What happens to your dividend? It goes away. All of a sudden, it's bye-bye to your retirement income. So what do we want to do? We want to diversify way better. If you look at the academic research on investing and how to take income from a portfolio, quite often what it is saying, okay, I'm going to have some money in various asset classes. Large companies, small companies, value companies, growth companies, international companies, short-term bonds and intermediate bonds, and so on and so forth. And what I do is I look at these different areas of the market, and they have a historic return. And what happens if the portfolio does this area of the market does better than this one? Well, in that particular year, I'm going to take income from this part of the portfolio. Then the next year, maybe this area does better than everything else. I'll take income from there. So what I'm doing is diversifying, which is an age-old concept. I mean, good grief, Nobel Prize winning concept of investing. And I actually apply it to taking income from a portfolio. So why is it that we often see this kind of stuff? It's because of the fees and the commissions and all of the incentives to sell you things that maybe aren't in your best interest. And a lot of advisors, you look at it, they aren't held to a fiduciary standard. In other words, they don't have to keep your best interest first. Paul Winkler Inc., we hold ourselves voluntarily to that standard, and we actually disclose it in our disclosure brochures. So if you want to know more about what we do and learn more and educate along the way, go to paulwinkler.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone call so that you can learn more, become an educated investor. First step is easy. paulwinkler.com, free 15-minute phone call, and get started ASAP, because you can't afford to wait. You've got to make sure you get this right. You don't get a second shot.
Honest with you, I don't feel like it's going to happen. I feel like, they've been saying that the client list, we're going to release the client list. We're going to release the client list. I feel like it's happened so many different times, and it never really ends up panning out. It never does. And I don't want to be like a wet blanket. This is something I want to see released. And a federal judge in New York ordered the identities of more than 150 people mentioned in court documents related to the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein to be unsealed. But they also gave him a 2-week window for appeals. And I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to happen. Here's the latest update from News Nation. Oh, hold on.
Inside the federal courthouse here in Lower Manhattan, and this is where Judge Loretta Preska has ordered that January 1st release date of more than 170 names associated with a civil lawsuit that was settled some time ago here. But many of those names that will be released are Jeffrey Epstein's close friends, associates, and some of his victims. Now, the judge is also allowing those individuals who would like to keep their names concealed or redacted to file an appeal to make their case before the release of those names in less than 2 weeks. Now, many of those names that will come out certainly are known and notable, including former presidents, but they are all part of a now settled civil lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell brought by Virginia Giuffre. Now, Giuffre accused Maxwell of helping Epstein abuse her by arranging travel plans along with setting up meeting times and places around the world to facilitate her sexual abuse. Maxwell is now serving 20 years in a federal prison after she was convicted in 2021 for her role in a scheme to sexually exploit and abuse multiple teenage girls with Epstein over a 10-year period.
Well, let's break this down. Ghislaine Maxwell, sentenced to 20 years, criminally underrated. She should have gotten life. This is one of the biggest scandals of our lifetime. Have you seen the memes, the Christmas vacation memes?
I don't think so.
So it's Russ looking at Chevy Chase, and he's like, Dad, are we going to hang all those Christmas lights? And he goes, well, son, like Epstein, they're not going to hang themselves. So it's become like the biggest meme on the internet. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. But it just seems like every time we feel like we're going to get something out of this, nothing happens. And they're already admitting some records will remain confidential. They're already saying there's going to be a 2-week period for appealing and trying to keep your name off the list. But this is going to be interesting if it does get released. I don't think it would be. I hope that the judge that's ordered this has security. Because, people like this that, come at these kind of things tend to commit suicide by shooting themselves twice in the back of the head and jump down some stairs. I don't know. It's just always these weird scenarios. But they said that former president is on the list? Bill Clinton. It's like a lot of these names I feel like we know already. Maybe they're going to throw out some low-level guys. Maybe we'll see some of these J.P. Morgan executives get thrown under the bus. I don't feel like we're going to get what we think we're going to get for Christmas. Like, they're never going to throw the elite of the elite under the bus. Maybe I'm just too black-pilled on this subject. Maybe I need to take a white pill and have a little bit more hope. But do you really think anything's going to come out of this? I want to know what you think. 615-737-9986. 150 names linked to Jeffrey Epstein to be revealed because of this Ghislaine Maxwell lawsuit. I mean, Marsha Blackburn's been trying to subpoena this stuff. Dick Durbin's shutting her down. Politicians are on this list. The elite of the elite are on this list. I don't think that it's going to come out. I feel like we're going to be, it's like they dangle the carrot, they give us a little bit of hope, and then they yank it away. They'll dangle the carrot, they'll give us a little bit of hope, and then they'll yank it away. And I feel like this is another one of those things where we're going to get to the day before January 1st, and they're going to be like, everybody's going to be preoccupied with holiday parties and New Year's Eve and all this, and then there's going to be a hold. Somebody's going to step in and stop this from being released. Anybody else feel like that? I don't understand why. It just bugs me. It just feels like this is a little bit of hopium, that they're giving us. Just a little something. Say, hey, here you go. And then they'll say, yeah, sorry, not going to do it. Because how long has it been since Epstein killed himself? It's like one of those things. What is it? John McCain's wife, Cindy, she's on record, on video saying, we all knew what Epstein was doing. Because they're all involved. They're all involved. When I was at AmFest over the weekend, Tucker Carlson was talking with the guys at Timcast IRL. They were doing that show live. They went around the table. They're like, who here's been arrested or detained by police? And everybody had a little something, except for Charlie Kirk, of course, who's, Charlie's like, I've never been arrested or detained for any reason at all. Which, of course, Charlie wouldn't have. But some of the guys are like, no, I've been arrested. I've been detained. Like, well, then everybody around this table has served more time than the clients of Jeffrey Epstein. Let's go to Samantha and Franklin on the list. Samantha, you're next on Super Talk. What's up?
Hi, Chris. I enjoy your show.
Thank you.
I wanted to bring up a comment about the list that's hopefully being released. I don't know why somebody hasn't leaked it yet, but there's a bit of an importance about this list. Russia and different communist countries have used situations like this to blackmail people in power. And this list should be part of our national security. It reveals the people who are part of the swamp. So I think this really needs to be escalated, and this list needs to be obtained by those who are concerned about the security of our country.
No, and I think you're right. I think that this whole thing was a honeypot operation. Now, who was in charge of the honeypot operation? I'm not sure. People have their theories. Was it the CIA? Was it other intelligence agencies? But, I don't even think a lot of it maybe is as nefarious as we seem, as we may think it could be. Like, it could be the fact that you get a politician to the island. He has this hot girl hitting on him. He ends up sleeping with the girl, and he's like, oh, by the way, that girl last night was 17. It'd be a shame if your wife found out. And then, boom, they're compromised immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's absolutely insane. Thanks for the call, Samantha. Let's go to John and Mount Juliet. John, you're next on Super Talk. What do you think about the list? Is it coming out?
Hey, Chris, I don't think it's going to come out, but I wanted to share a scenario with you. You know,
yeah, hit me.
Supposedly, old Slick Willie, his name appears on the manifest 18 times, 20 times.
Yep.
And when asked about it, his response was always, passing knowledge of Epstein. He jumped on this plane once or twice. Chris, if I owned an airplane, and noted that they weren't friends, but if I owned an airplane and you, Chris, flew with me 20, 18, 20, 19 times, would you think I'd call you a friend? Do you think we're friends? And then, by the way, and my Manhattan penthouse, I have a picture of you in a blue dress, painting on the wall.
Yep, and the painting it's the blue dress. It's the Monica dress, and he's wearing high heels. Who would do that unless you have power over that person?
Exactly, and that's the reason I think we all know Epstein was killed, and I don't think that list will ever be released. Just not going to happen.
No, I think that this is pure hopium for us. Like, they're just saying, "Hey, it's coming out," and then they're going to pull it away while nobody's paying attention.
Yep, agreed.
Hey, appreciate the call. Appreciate the call, John. Thanks so much. Let's go to Cedric in Kentucky. What up, Cedric?
Hey, how's it going today, Chris?
Good, man. How are you, brother?
Good. Hey, I'm waiting on that list now. The only thing I'm hoping though is, like I said, I'm a good listener. They don't need, when they come out with it, they don't need to black out no names at all, because there were a whole lot of people involved with Epstein. I'm talking about friends, partying with him, pictures with him, and everything. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and a whole lot of friends, and a whole lot of people involved with his, with his real estate and all that stuff that work with him. So when it come out, they need to just expose everybody, not be trying to, you don't want to cut nobody out.
I'm with you, all or nothing, and okay. I don't care who it exposes. Let's just expose them.
That's right, because that right there, that's something there. I've been on top of that, not just from the time that that situation came about, but when it comes to them children, I had young daughters myself, and when it comes to them children like that, man, I just ain't got nothing for nobody that'll take advantage of young girls like that. I mean, no matter what the circumstances were.
Me and you both, man, and you're going to be you're judged as a nation by how you take care of the most vulnerable. And right now, they're not taking care of the most vulnerable. They're taking care of the elite, and it's a huge scam.
Yes, it is, and I will never understand how that they have all these women prostitutes and all these women out escorts that you can buy, and to have little kids on the island doing stuff like that. Yep. They need to be dealt with fully.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for the call, Cedric. Appreciate you. A couple people texted in 9935 3235. Both said 4 words: Lucy, Charlie Brown, football. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Like, oh, we're going to get it this time. Whoop, pulled out behind us. 5000 says the judge will be suicided before the list comes out. Yep. Sure feels that way. 4822 said, I've heard Biden has an island next to Epstein Island. Maybe y'all can dig in on that. I've heard that too. I've heard that as well. Also, Little St. James was a stop on the Disney Cruise Line at one point in time. And Ghislaine Maxwell did stuff with Disney as well. Not a joke. Not a joke.
It's a natural fact.
I wish it was.
7547 says, I'll say it again. The list has been leaked on TikTok for years. And then, yeah.
But most of you elder generations think TikTok is nothing but Chinese propaganda. Am I an elder generation now? How old are you, 7547? How old are you? I mean, the list has been leaked a lot of places, but it's...
Does that mean I'm older generation?
You're so old.
I'm so old.
But the thing is like, until it comes from an official source, it's just hearsay. And it's like, I could say I have a leaked list. Oh, he's 7547 is 24. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. But here's the thing. If it comes from an official outlet, then we can actually use that differently than we can if it's on TikTok or 4chan, from the source being, trust me, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of names that might be on the list, but until we see it officially from a court document, the source is literally, trust me, bro. So let's get the names. Who are you protecting? They're not releasing the list to protect the victims. They're not releasing the list to protect the clients. It's 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang out with us. It's the Chris Hand Show.
Mass murder in Europe. Chicago city leaders calling on the White House to help with all the people crossing the southern border and being flown in from Texas. And bad weather threatening to disrupt holiday travel. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. We are talking about the Epstein list. Will it be released on January 1st? I don't think it will. I just don't. I got a text from 4559 said, have you seen the friendly photos of Trump and Melania with Epstein? Can't wait for the list to come out. I see a lot of people talk about Trump in this aspect, and I will say this. If Trump had real ties to Jeffrey Epstein, don't you think that they would have exposed it by now? They've tried everything else to get Trump out. Wouldn't they have used that evidence to get him out? And I'll also point out the fact that Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after he hit on a member's daughter. That happened. And I can't find the story, but somebody on the Super Text line will be able to find it. But during the 2014 case, if I recall correctly, it was the prosecutor said that when he reached out to all these people for information on Jeffrey Epstein, there was only one person that came forward and was willing to spend as much time and tell him as much that he needed to know about Jeffrey Epstein, and that was Donald Trump. So would things change? Would my mind change if new information became available? Absolutely, 100%. However, if they had that on him, don't you think they would have tied him to the most notorious sex trafficker in the country already? They have a couple photos with him, a little video. I don't know, man. Maybe. But until I see it, I'm going to have to lean on the side that I don't think the relationship was there. Because they would have tried to drag him through the mud already with this. You know that. Just my 2 cents. Let's go to David in the Borough. He wants to talk about the Epstein list. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, David?
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much. You couldn't be more than right. That list and the flight logs, you're never going to see those, ever. They probably don't even exist today. And as far as this blowhard, grandstanding senator here of Tennessee goes, come on, that's air she can't breathe. The American people do not understand who they're dealing with here. Look at it this way. There were 2 operatives that went into a federal secure prison and did their work. And the cameras are gone and everything's gone. Come on, people. It's time to let's just sheathe those swords of virtue, put a pin in this. This is over.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I thought the cameras not working was a coincidence. Wasn't it a coincidence? I think it was
coincidence? Come on. You have 2 operatives slip into a secure facility. Can you get in there?
No, well, I read it was just bad luck.
Bad luck. Yeah, it probably was. Let's face it. They used Epstein until he wasn't useful anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then it's gone. So
I'm of the opinion that Epstein was just the face of the operation, and Ghislaine Maxwell was actually the mastermind. I mean, her father had ties to intelligence agencies as well. So who knows? Who knows? I appreciate your call, David. I'm with you, man. 3064 texted in, said it's a moot point. There's a lot of innocent people who had photos with Epstein, leaning on what we talked about with Trump. Some people are so stupid, man. It's unbelievable. God bless these morons. I mean, listen, I don't think we're going to see any information on Trump and Epstein that would change my mind. But if I did, dude, that's not a hill I'm going to die on. Anybody that's tied to that guy, he's a monster. Take them all down. Let's go. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes on this first day of winter. Reports say at least 10 people are dead in a rare mass shooting in Europe. Lama Hassan says it happened in downtown Prague in the Czech Republic.
The shooting took place very close to the famous Charles Bridge, which is a major landmark in the Czech
capital. Now, the whole of the square and the entire area surrounding the university is now locked down. We don't have any more information at this point or any more details on the shooter, what the motive could possibly be. It is also important to note at this point that this type of incident is rare in the Czech Republic. Gun crime is generally low.
The video on social media shows people running away from the scene. In this country, Chicago city leaders asking the Biden administration for help after another plane full of people who had crossed over the southern border landed at O'Hare International Airport last night. This is Alderman Rosanna Rodriguez.
We are a sanctuary city and we want to be able to take care of everybody here, but we can't do it on our own. We need resources.
Yeah, that's what Texas Governor Greg Abbott is saying and promising Chicago will see more plane loads of people crossing over into his country from Mexico until President Biden does something to secure the southern border. U.S. Border Patrol agents made more than 10,000 apprehensions along the southwest border Tuesday alone, 11,000 the day before. Holiday travel update. Here's Brian Clark.
The TSA says today, December 29th and January 1st will be the busiest days of the holiday travel season. And so far today, so good. Shortly before noon Eastern, there were a little more than 1,000 delays in the U.S. and fewer than 100 cancellations. TSA says it expects to screen more than 2.5 million passengers on each of these busiest days.
Right now, a powerful storm slamming the West Coast, threatening to disrupt holiday travel. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:05. My name is Chris Hand. You know, we had a big conversation yesterday about my experience at the Phoenix airport. Watching the, what does the left call them? Oh, yeah, the migrants roll in. Migrants. Not illegal aliens. No. The left has successfully manipulated that language. And it's frustrating to me because they've manipulated it even down to right-wing sources. They call them migrants too. But what I saw at the Phoenix airport on my way back from Turning Point USA's America Fest was eye-opening. And a lot of conservatives were traveling through that airport in Phoenix. A lot of conservatives saw it as well. Special lines for the illegal aliens, no IDs, clear Ziploc bags with processing paperwork. Unreal. Well, James O'Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas, now of OMG Media, the O'Keefe Media Group, he was at the Phoenix airport as well. And James O'Keefe actually rolled up on the bus driver bringing illegal aliens to the airport and started asking the guy questions, which is like, I almost feel bad for the people at the Phoenix airport because they were not ready for that many conservative journalists, activists, commentators to be in an airport at the same time and go, what the hell is this? And kudos to everybody that was there rolling on it and diving into this because it was eye-opening. It was shocking to see how many illegal aliens were at the Phoenix airport. And James O'Keefe, he was there as well. And he rolled up on the bus driver bringing the illegal aliens in.
The city? Who do you work for? Do you work for the government or the airlines? Well, it matters because the public has a right to know. Can you tell me who you work for? I can find out.
I work for Jet Limousine.
You work for Jet Limousine. And who hired you?
I don't know who contracted us.
You don't know who contracted you? And what's your name? I mean, I can find out.
So he rolls up on this guy. He said, who hired you? And he says, take it up with the city or the state. Who do you work for? I work for Jet Limousine. What's your name? Why do I need to tell you? He's well, I can find out. And I think it's kudos to O'Keefe because you got to go right to the source on this. Who hired you? Who's paying you? Where are you picking these individuals up from?
All right. And
there's nothing nefarious going on here at all whatsoever.
How many trips do you take a day? What time? Have you heard of James O'Keefe and OMG before?
I've heard of the name James O'Keefe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, does it concern you that dropping off all these migrants at the airport?
Does it concern me?
Yes.
As far as what?
Where do you pick them up? You can't disclose where you pick them up?
No, because I don't tell anybody where I pick up any of my clients.
Okay. And your name is Jet Limousine?
We're a limousine company.
Limousine company. Okay, you pick them up at the border, I assume.
I don't pick up anybody.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
So he says, where do you pick these people up? I can't tell you. Well, you're probably at the border. Jet Limousine. How many trips a day? A few. Interesting. He wasn't done there. He also explains how they get off the bus and roll right into the airport and get served.
All right, there it is. The buses are pulling up. The buses are pulling up at the airport here, and they let people off the bus. I'm at Terminal 3, Phoenix Sky Harbor, and there you have it, pulling up. A lot of the people at the airport are upset. The migrants then come into the airport and go to the desk to work with American Airlines here. Come right off the bus into the airport and go right to the front desk. There they are right there, being served by the airline.
You know, there was a lot of conversation online that it was Delta Airlines. I made the comment that they were on the American Airlines flight to Nashville as well. And it's not just Delta Airlines, it's all the airlines that are complicit. My wife is actually very upset about this because she says, you know, these guys are sitting in first class. So you're not just rolling up and buying a ticket. Like, these tickets were already there. These seats were reserved. I tend to think that she's right on the money. These seats are reserved for migrants, illegal aliens. See, they've manipulated the language so much that even I find myself falling into that trap of calling them migrants. They're illegal aliens. It's so infuriating. So infuriating. I bumped into Ken Weaver on the way to the restroom, and even Ken's like, it's like, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's nuts. And when it does drop, none of us are going to be shocked. And the federal government, they act like, oh, we're doing our best. Yeah, you're doing your best to let them in and process them. I will say this, though. We do have some good news. A federal judge has actually forbidden the Biden administration from removing the Texas border barriers. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton succeeded in a legal battle against President Biden on Tuesday when an appellate court declared an injunction that the Biden administration is not allowed to remove the state's concertina wire fencing installed to dissuade illegal immigration as the suit continues to be litigated. This is the razor wire that they talk about. The same razor wire that we saw them lifting with a forklift in videos so that way illegal aliens could crawl underneath. That made me very mad. If I'm a state police officer, why would you, or your border control, why do you let that slide? Somebody comes in with a forklift and lifts the razor wire? I don't care if they work for the federal government. You are aiding and abetting a crime at that point. It's crazy. Paxton said in a press release following the decision that he will remain committed to fighting the White House's radical policies to ensure that all Texans remain safe from the historic invasion of unvetted foreign aliens into the state. He says, I'm very pleased that the appellate court has forbidden federal agents sent by the Biden administration from destroying our concertina wire fences, given the ongoing disaster at the southern border due to the federal government's intentional actions. More than ever, it is necessary to take every step we can to hold the line. A lot of people talk about civil war, and for me, I don't know if it's going to, I don't ever want it to happen. I don't think that when people do talk about it, I don't think they really fully think about the repercussions of it. But for me, it's going to be, if it ever kicks off, it's going to be one of these situations where you're going to have state officials versus federal officials. I don't think you're going to see militias forming and going against the federal government. I think you'd see a state official in Texas arresting a federal official for lifting up razor wire with a forklift. I think that will be how a civil war would get started. Because you see the federal government going against the state government on so many occasions, whether it's the razor wire in Texas, whether it's the shipping container border wall in Arizona, the federal government is stopping the states from fighting the illegal invasion. Ken Paxton said, I will continue to fight against the Biden administration's radical policies and work to make Texas a safer, more secure place to live. And while this is a big win, it still feels like it's too little too late. The damage is done. The ruling comes after Paxton sued the Biden administration in October for directing federal agents to cut the razor wire fencing that the state of Texas had installed in areas along the U.S. southern border with Mexico. Governor Greg Abbott shared a video in September that showed federal agents removing the wire in a high-traffic spot in Eagle Pass, Texas, in order to allow the illegal aliens to invade the country. And the suit claimed more than 14,000 immigrants had illegally entered the country through that spot during the time the wire was cut. You're seeing federal governments go against state governments. This is how a civil war would start. It's scary to think about, but this is how it would start. The lawsuit stated that Texas had strategically positioned the wire to secure the border, even getting permission from landowners in the area to erect the wire in high-traffic locations. So they had permission from the property owners. And despite these measures, the federal government cut the wire multiple times in the state's ongoing fight with the Biden administration, according to the suit. They cut the wire, the federal government. Governor Greg Abbott defended the use of razor wire, suggesting it wouldn't be necessary if the federal government would do more to solve the border crisis. And he's absolutely right. It wouldn't be necessary if they stepped up and did their job. In addition to the recent court ruling, Texas won another border war against Biden administration in September when a federal appeals court struck down a judge's order at the direction of the Biden admin for the state to remove the 1,000-foot line of buoys that Governor Abbott had deployed across sections of the Rio Grande to deter illegal aliens from crossing the river. The court decision came as recent data released by Border Patrol revealed historic numbers of illegals crossing under the Biden administration at the hands of the president's open border policies. And make no mistake, it is open border policies. And we're seeing 10,000 plus illegal aliens from countries around the world crossing the border every single day this month.
The early morning sun reveals a familiar sight today here in Lukeville, Arizona. 500 people have crossed illegally through a breach in the border wall. Hundreds of them then marched to a Border Patrol processing area. Some taking selfies to show their arrival in the U.S. CBP sources tell Fox News 190,000 migrants have been encountered at the southern border since December began. That's an average of 10,000 every day this month, and they're coming from around the globe.
Where are you guys from?
India.
India. Everybody here from India?
Yeah, India.
Where do you guys want to go in the United States? What city?
California.
California? California? Everybody here California? New Jersey. Seattle. New York.
In Eagle Pass, Border Patrol agents remain overwhelmed. They report that roughly 10,000 illegal immigrants crossed there since Saturday.
The video is crazy when you see these illegal aliens in these staging areas. It looks like a crowd at Bonnaroo. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many people that you would expect it to be an outdoor festival of some sort. And the federal government does nothing.
And those people are in danger because this administration isn't shutting things down.
Oh, and they're passing out. They're getting sick. It's like, and they're at the whim of the cartels too.
Yep.
The whole way through the journey. And the federal government says, "Oh, we're so humane. We're doing the humane thing." MSNBC, even Mockingbird Media, MSNBC can't say that this is good. They're saying this is the most people they've ever seen in Eagle Pass, as record numbers of illegal aliens cross the border every single day.
Another thing is these crowds here in Eagle Pass have never been this large during my reporting. This is the most people I've ever seen in Eagle Pass, and other reporters, colleagues working other parts of the border in Arizona, in Jacumba, near San Diego, tell me the same thing. We have these conversations, and the conversation is always, well, I've never seen this number of migrants arriving, and we know from the reports coming from the government with these numbers. So we have the number of apprehensions, the numbers of encounters, everything spiking. So we don't know what this will mean moving forward. We just know that the numbers are much larger as the resources are spread thin.
The resources are spread thin. I feel like that's an understatement. We're $33 trillion in debt. We're spending $450-something billion a year to take care of these people. Yeah, I would say the resources are spread thin. Let's go to Mike in the borough on the border. Mike, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. The borders, I was telling you, the screener there, I don't understand why the Republican Party hasn't been more just say no more funding for anything. We're going to just cancel everybody's funding, especially as we control the House. But my main thing is all this stuff about, the January 6th, like Colorado trying to just basically ruin our democratic republic by taking people off the election ballot. That's a third world country deal.
Yeah, it's Banana Republic.
Banana Republic. How come when Tucker Carlson released some tapes of the January 6th, because there was a very, very small Capitol Police force, but the other thing was they were inviting them in. How come I'd like for you to use your influence, and Matt, you guys, to figure out with Blackburn and Haggerty and Mark Green, all those guys, how come those tapes are not being more released so that the public can actually see it. Are they being threatened? Because, you know, they got them. It's available, but it should be made to the public. You know, let people know exactly there wasn't an insurrection. There was an invitation to come inside the house. They didn't do anything to, you know, stop the guys that were up there. They can call them the rioters, but I can show you riots back in, you know, Milwaukee and Seattle and those areas. Those were true riots
during the summer of love.
People.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the only person that got killed was an innocent vet who walked through the window, and an officer shot her in the neck.
Yep.
She was unarmed, and we never heard anything about that.
Ashley
Babbitt, you know.
Yep.
But if you could, use your influence, please, sir, and I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas and blessed Christmas, but we need to find out more about these tapes so that the public will know the truth.
Hey, man, I'm with you on that. You know, I appreciate your call. Mike Johnson said that he was going to release the tapes, and he said he needed to have some time to blur people's faces, which I thought was a little weird because whose faces are you blurring? My gut instinct was, oh, the Fed's in the crowd. That's probably whose faces you need to blur. It's going to take some time because rumor has it, a lot of Feds. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
We're learning new details coming out of Europe and the mass murder there. Chicago city leaders asking for help from the White House with people flown in after crossing the southern border illegally into Texas, and massive automotive recall to tell you about. All this and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. The border is an absolute mess, and it only started being a problem once the big blue cities started getting these illegal aliens shipped in. Weird. You know, I saw on CNN, the CNN's on in the studio, said the Mexican president met with Biden about the border. You know, if it went anything like the meeting with China went, we're going to find out in a couple weeks that the Mexican president told him we're going to retake Texas. Yeah, it's like we're gonna reunify.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's the way things go. We're not ruling from a place of strength. I mean, listen, 1 year ago, Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown, a year ago, said it's only people on the far right who care about illegal immigration.
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters, except people on the far right that always want to gain political advantage by talking about it.
Oh, that didn't age well. That didn't age well at all. I mean, now you see the mayors, the local officials saying we can't keep this up. It's not working. I mean, the mayor of New York City, Mayor Eric Adams, it's kind of funny. He says people in the streets are basically giving him the finger because of what's going on in New York.
You know, some people see me. I could walk down the block. Some give me the thumbs up, and others give me another finger. You know, but that's New Yorkers. You know, I wake up in the morning at some time and look at myself, and I give myself the finger.
Yeah, I would give myself the finger too. Just feeling New York. At least he admits it.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, he's been on record saying no federal help is coming in 2024. No help is coming. It's crazy, man. This border situation is unreal. And you look at the footage on the ground in Eagle Pass, Texas, it looks like a dumpster. There's trash strewn about everywhere, all over the razor wire. There's IDs all over the ground. There's medication. There's garbage. Tons of trash. It's the craziest thing. And the left says, oh, this is the most humane thing we can do. And then at the same time, they're like, we got to save our environment from climate change. What about the environment down at the border? If you see the trash down there, have you seen these videos? I just retweeted one on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. You go look at this video and tell me that there isn't an issue down there. Because there's a massive problem at the border, and nobody's taking it seriously. In fact, the Biden administration is actively aiding and abetting what's going on down there. It's a crime. 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver with the latest headlines.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes on this first day of winter. Right now in the Czech Republic, reports say 10 people dead, but as many as 30 others wounded. The shooter dead too. This is at a school in the capital city of Prague. Chicago city leaders are asking the Biden administration for help with all the people flown in after crossing the southern border into Texas illegally. Dr. Rebecca Fenton, a pediatrician at Alivio Medical Center, said disease is running rampant throughout the shelters there in the Windy City.
We've seen multiple cases of hand-foot-mouth disease, scabies, respiratory viruses, and chickenpox, a vaccine-preventable disease.
Alivio Medical Center is located a short walk from the shelter where a 5-year-old boy died. Drive a Honda or Acura? Over 2.5 million cars under recall due to fuel pump defect. The automaker saying it will replace fuel pumps for all vehicles impacted by the recall at no cost in separate phases, with the first batch of owner notification letters going out in February. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey folks, Paul Winkler here. When we get to retirement, what do we want to do? We want to go and kick back, right? But we also want to take an income from our investment portfolios. And there are a lot of common myths that I hear about how do you take an income from an investment portfolio. One is that people will get into, this was really big a few years ago, really big, real estate investment trust. Now, real estate gets rented and it kicks off an income, and then you have some kind of dividend that's paid, and because the REIT has to pay out most of the dividend, it's a great way to take income in retirement. But what happens, like what happened recently, when all of a sudden the properties go unrented? What happens to your income? Bye-bye, it's gone. Another thing that I see is this: people buy stocks or stock mutual funds that are dividend paying, and what we'll do is we'll live off the dividends. Well, what is the dividend? It's part of the earnings of the company. So you got the earnings of the company, right? And then what happens is the company may pay out some of the dividend, and they call that a dividend when they pay it out, or they may retain some of it, and it's called retained earnings. Well, the problem is this: what if the company's earnings go down, just like the real estate investment trust up here? What if the earnings go down? What happens to your dividend? It goes away. All of a sudden, it's bye-bye to your retirement income. So what do we want to do? We want to diversify way better. If you look at the academic research on investing and how to take income from a portfolio, quite often what it is saying, okay, I'm going to have some money in various asset classes. Large companies, small companies, value companies, growth companies, international companies, short-term bonds and intermediate bonds, and so on and so forth. And what I do is I look at these different areas of the market, and they have a historic return. And what happens if the portfolio does, this area of the market does better than this one? Well, in that particular year, I'm going to take income from this part of the portfolio. Then the next year, maybe this area does better than everything else. I'll take income from there. So what I'm doing is diversifying, which is an age-old concept. I mean, good grief, Nobel Prize winning concept of investing, and I actually apply it to taking income from a portfolio. So why is it that we often see this kind of stuff? It's because of the fees and the commissions and all of the incentives to sell you things that maybe aren't in your best interest. And a lot of advisors, you look at it, they aren't held to a fiduciary standard. In other words, they don't have to keep your best interest first. Paul Winkler, Inc., we hold ourselves voluntarily to that standard, and we actually disclose it in our disclosure brochures. So if you want to know more about what we do and learn more and educate along the way, go to paulwinkler.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone call so that you can learn more, become an educated investor. First step is easy. paulwinkler.com, free 15-minute phone call, and get started ASAP, because you can't afford to wait. You've got to make sure you get this right. You don't get a second shot.
Let's have a robust debate on immigration, but don't hold the issue hostage. State where you are. Let's work it out. We have offered a plan.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that it's very unfortunate, but it actually is more than just unfortunate. It will have real consequence for these folks to play these kinds of games with who we are as America in terms of our role of global leadership. It will have consequence.
Oh, it will have consequence. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN 1135. My name is Chris Hand. I made the joke a little bit ago, based on the reporting that Xi Jinping told Biden he was going to take Taiwan when they met. That, CNN's reporting that Biden's meeting with the Mexican president. I made the joke. We're going to find out in 2 weeks that I'm taking back Texas. And 6902 texted and said, I'd be happy if they took back California. So frustrating. Like, this is one of the things that I actually do get a little bit mad about. I saw a video online about Ireland, and somebody went to Ireland and from America, and they were shocked that you could pump gas without paying first, that they still lived in a high trust society.
Wow.
Do you remember pumping gas with being able to do it before you paid?
No, I didn't know that was ever a thing.
Yeah.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, I used to be able to do that.
What?
Yeah, you would pump your gas and then you'd go in and pay for however much it was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that can't happen.
Well, that's what happens in high trust societies.
Wow.
But when you let in mass immigration of people that are unvetted and illegal aliens, and you let anybody come in that you want that aren't going to assimilate into your culture, you have a low trust society. And that's what we have in America now. A low trust society. In part, because of the open border policies. And Joe Biden has made this so much worse. 9033 texted in and said, order out of chaos. Setting you up. Very simple. It does feel like that. It does feel like order out of chaos. Oh, 6384 says you can still pump without paying in Hogtown. Based.
That's crazy.
Yep. That is crazy. But the border situation is unreal. And then it's not just like illegal invasion is happening, but it's impacting legal border crossing as well. In fact, the border crisis is leading to a 13-hour wait time for legal crossings at Texas-Mexico ports of entry. 13-hour wait times. Residents in Mexico are furious as the ongoing border crisis along the Texas-Mexico border has practically frozen all legal crossings. So all the illegal crossings, come on in, boys. Woo! Legal crossings have basically frozen. And if you're legally authorized to enter the U.S., you have to wait 13 hours in line to cross through a port of entry. 13 hours. The long wait times come as overwhelmed and understaffed U.S. federal authorities are forced to deal with record-setting numbers of illegal aliens crossing the Rio Grande and making claims of credible fear to avoid deportation. This influx of migrants forced the U.S. Customs and Border Protection to stop the rail bridge in Eagle Pass and close legal crossing lanes at its ports of entry to move officers to assist in transporting, processing, and caring for the thousands of illegal aliens that are crossing the river each day. It blows my mind. We have to move officers to assist in transporting. Where are we transporting them to? Oh, the Phoenix airport, so that way they can go to the interior of the country. Processing? Why are we processing these people instead of sending them back? Oh, because Biden took the Remain in Mexico policy off the table. Caring for? Is it our job to care for everybody in the world? And because of that, there's only one crossing lane in use at the International Bridge number 2 in Pedras Negras, Eagle Pass. I know I butcher these words. I apologize. I butchered concertina wire earlier as well. I'll never come on the air and claim I know how to speak well. Promise you. But these lanes are closed on the International Bridge. Only one lane is open. A move that immediately led to extremely long wait times. Law enforcement sources revealed to Breitbart, Texas, that the line leading to the port of entry went back for miles from the river. Authorities in Mexico were forced to deal with scuffles and traffic issues as enraged locals grew tired of waiting in line. Some tried to cut in line. According to information revealed by the head of local chapter of National Chamber of Commerce, Hector Rodriguez Lopez, they're experiencing a loss in commerce of $150K per day due to the ongoing border crisis. The businessman claimed that the closing of the rail bridge and slowing down of legal vehicle crossing is hurting local business and major enterprises that use the port of entry there to move their goods. Oh, but it's so humane and compassionate to let these people over. To who? To who? That's who I want to. Who is this? Who is this humane and compassion for? Who? Rich in the borough. You're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Rich?
Hey, this is a problem. We have an invasion. This is no longer just illegal immigration. I think it was yesterday on your show there was talk of how the Obama Homeland Security Director said they considered 1,000 people coming in a day a bad day during his administration. We're now at 12 times more or more than that. This is an invasion. We've lost our border, and this is the primary function of the federal government to solve this. And I'm going to start with my frustration about the GOP. There should be immediate for Biden to stop it completely, not just, hey, we're going to take some action, but literally these numbers should be dropping to a trickle, or else we impeach as a high crime, because it is a high crime to not defend the border of our country. He has swore a constitutional oath to defend our country. He's not. Our congressman should not be home resting comfortably.
I'm with
Christmas.
you. I'm so with you. They're on Christmas break. They're on Christmas break.
They're showing their utter uselessness, and it's the death knells of the GOP and the power structure they have created to get their friends and stay in power instead of actually doing what America needs. And that's going to change how I vote. That's going to change who I look for. They should be taking action, and there should be nothing happening in Congress except them sitting there until they get this solved through impeachment and through any other methods. We need to be sending our military to the border because we're being invaded. We need to be using every method to stop this because we cannot survive 50 million illegals in our country. We're not built for that.
I
We
couldn't
don't have the
agree with
jobs
you
for that.
more.
We don't have the schools for that.
And instead, they're on vacation and they're spending your tax dollars on commercials to tell you how good they are.
I want to throw up.
Me and you both. It's like, dude, what are you guys doing? And then they'll let Trump be removed from the ballot because there's an insurrection. Where are the Republicans saying, you know what? Biden's off the ballot in Texas. Biden's off the ballot in Ohio. Biden's off the ballot in Florida. Let's step up. But they won't.
They've lost their will to fight. They've lost their will to fight for what's right. And by fight, I mean pushing the agenda, pushing lawmaking forward. And they're instead content with the status quo. And while there are a few good conservatives in the GOP, they've gotten to the point that they're just throwing their hands up and not willing to keep fighting against the tide, except for the rare exceptions that don't care that they're lampooned by the media, blackballed by the GOP themselves, and made into farces when they're the ones actually trying to make us look at the elephant in the room. And the elephant has a big GOP sticker on it right now.
You're absolutely right. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I really appreciate your call, Rich. Call in anytime, man. It's unreal. It's unreal. Daily Mail is reporting that there's no more room. There's no more room. Overwhelmed Texas U.S. Border Patrol agents have run out of space to process record number of illegal aliens crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Shocking new images show thousands of migrants sitting in an open field while they wait. Illegal aliens fainting. Overwhelmed agents with the U.S. Border Patrol have run out of space to process these historic numbers who have flooded over the American southern border in recent days. That means new illegal alien arrivals will have to wait days in an open field, serving as a makeshift holding center in Eagle Pass. They're at capacity. There's no more room, one Border Patrol source told thedailymail.com. Turn them around. Reinstate remain in Mexico. This could be solved so quickly, which it drives me nuts. This could be solved so quickly. But they don't want to solve it. They don't care to solve it. And they say these people are asylum seekers. But I saw a video coming out of Phoenix Airport where they're talking to these illegal aliens who are being flown on the taxpayer dime to the interior of the country. And they're asking them, are you seeking asylum? Oh, yes. Were you fleeing danger? No. Was it dangerous? No, not where I was. Are you coming for economic reasons? Yeah, there's work opportunity. Oh, yeah, it sounds like asylum to me. U.S. apprehensions of migrants at the border hit a new record on Monday with at least 12,600 encounters during a period of 24 hours. The spike comes as U.S. Customs and Border Protection announced it would suspend rail operations at a pair of international crossings at Eagle Pass. It's crazy. There's a new video courtesy of Texas Congressman Rep. Tony Gonzalez, which shows inside of the Border Patrol's Firefly Tent Processing Center in Eagle Pass, and it's unreal. They say at the end of the video that he took, a DHS official was trying to block his view. And there's thousands of people in this tent. And he's filming. And then at the end of the video, a hand goes up in front of the camera. They don't want you to know what's going on, but they can't hide what's going on. Inside that tent, 6,000 people. How many is it supposed to hold? Oh, 1,000. But it was crammed with 6,000 people, Rep. Tony Gonzalez stated. And he goes, that's just one of the waiting areas. There's a whole caged area in the back with turf that can fit about 1,000 people. And they're squeezed in like sardines. Like sardines. Mark in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Mark?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to say that.
Mark in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk 99.7. What's up, Mark?
Nothing much. I think that the president, Trump or Biden, should have legalized all the Hispanics that have legal children in this country. I know Hispanics that their children are 18, 20 years old, and they're having to buy a house in their children's name because they can't get legal.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to sell me on that. Thanks for the call, Mark. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not sold on that kind of stuff. Like, I hear it, and I get that people want to be compassionate, but I'm not even willing to talk about that until we get what's happening at the border under control. Until we get the millions of illegals that have flowed in since Biden took office deported. I get the conversation about dreamers. And to me, that's just what it is. It's a dream until we get it under control immediately. Like, not even time. We don't have time for that conversation. We're being invaded. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're talking about the border. Where did that text go? I got a text here. I thought was really funny. Oh, 4209. We were talking about the border, illegal crossings, and he said, 4209 texted and said, avoid stop signs, drive through yards. Avoid traffic lights, drive on sidewalks. I mean, that's basically what the Biden administration is telling you when it comes to the border. Don't worry about doing it the right way. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. 3081 says, you all need to find good stories this time of year because the bad stories make people more depressed. And besides, you all are beating a dead horse. Well, sorry. I tried to have fun earlier, and I got chastised for having fun. Don't you remember Middle from the Biddle?
Middle from the Biddle, bro. Come on, we had some fun.
We had some fun earlier.
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember Joe Biden trying to sell people on Bidenomics? Bidenomics is back, and we middle from the Biddle.
We're doing it by building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Not a whole lot trickle down on my dad's kitchen table when the top down economy. But when you middle from the Biddle, when you increase the middle class, the poor have a shot, and the wealthy still do very well.
Yeah, you hear that?
When you middle from the Biddle.
When you middle from the Biddle, the poor have a shot, and the wealthy still do pretty well.
The poor have a shot.
This is the same guy that said,
yikes.
Rich kids are just as good as black kids. Remember that? Remember
gosh.
him? That's this guy. When you middle from the Biddle, baby. Yep. Scott texted in 9145. He said, keep beating that dead horse. Beat that dead horse. We should can we get like a big thump sound effect for when I'm beating a dead horse?
Yeah, I've got something.
There you go.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
What else do I got? It's more of a punch.
Yeah, it's more of like a smack. I mean, like it needs to be thumpy. It needs to be thumpy. People are asking where they can find the Christmas song I played during the Three Amigos.
Oh yeah, the AI.
Yeah, all right. So this is the AI is called Trump the Don, and it's a rapper by the name of High Rez, Hi-Rez, High Rez the rapper. And you guys want me to have fun? I'll have some fun. All right. So this is it's an AI Trump Christmas song. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Trump the Don, make Christmas great again.
Biden's a schmuck, Nancy's corrupt, Hillary Clinton, she really sucks. My tweets were rude, Michelle's a dude, Barack is a cuck. Adam 22, punches laptop, smoking some rock, guns in the trash, high on some crack, sleeping with thoughts, pay off the cops, bribe the Ukraine, give him a job. Elizabeth Warren is a native, she's fully white and hates it. Klaus is a clown, Maxine Waters frowns, Billy Sabin, who knocked it down. Down with the rhinos and globalists and the fake news, they're full of free my dogs locked up. Gen 6, America first, no jihadist, fire AOC, and no more please Rashida Tlaib, hope that you leave. Down with the squad, election fraud, the climate change, nonsense and drop. Can we and Greta Thunberg are always fear-mongering to you and me? Knew some words for Xi Jinping, Leah Thomas has a ding-a-ling. Don't go paddleboarding in Martha's Vineyard with Obama's chef. Alex Jones is always right, Sean King is really white. Obama's gay, derail a train, East Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, Maui in flames, aliens on planes, in the West Wing, finding cocaine, but I lose his spins, Dylan is a trend, billions to Iran, shout out to my fan, Chuck Schumer is a loser, students being taught by groomers, Liz Cheney is a boomer, the left can't meme, no humor, Chris Christie, retire soon, you look like a Chinese spy balloon, monkey pops, get your COVID shots, Cardi B's wop, riot for the cops, Trump Towers, Trump steak too, Trump water, Trump candle. You will own nothing and be happy, and you have no choice. Kamala Harris is BP for touching Willie Brown's pee-pee. Clinton was on the island with Jeffrey flying, bunch of underage girls. We know Bill Gates did as well. Epstein didn't kill himself.
All right, which references do you think went over people's heads?
Oof, man, there's probably a couple for sure.
Like Adam 22, that went over people's heads.
Yeah. What did you say about The Rock? Well, I guess we can't say that again.
He said,
that one did go over my head, though.
I like Liz Cheney's a boomer.
Liz Cheney. I love Chris Christie. Looks like a Chinese spy balloon.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas.
Gosh, yes.
I don't know. I love this stuff. I know some people don't, but like it's like you can't win sometimes. It's
yeah,
like I'm beating a dead horse, or I'm not having fun, or I'm having too much
fun, not enough.
I don't know what you want from me. I don't know.
I don't know. It's been a minute since we've heard from Pence.
156 said Willie Brown was a line that he liked.
Yeah, that guy's got a lot of good ones,
dude.
It's tough to. I mean, he writes all those, right?
So he writes the whole
and then
thing,
has the AI,
and then he pumps it into the AI and kind of has the AI do the whole thing.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, there's a little fun for you. Wendy wants to know how you find that online. You can go to YouTube, type in Trump the Don, make Christmas great again. It's classic. Oh, Todd's here. Todd, show starts at 9. Todd's been here for a while. I'm just hating on him.
No, he is. He said you can still pay and pump and pay or whatever. Where he lives.
Oh. Todd also said don't order from Amazon, and it wasn't like a boycott text. He's just tired of delivering packages this time of year. I think he's just asking us. He's just asking us, please.
Just go to the store.
Please, just pick it up at the store. We're looking out for you, Todd, and all the mailmen out there.
We'll try.
Yeah, don't order from Amazon. No real boycott stuff. We're just looking out for Todd. 9673 said that Trump the Don, Make Christmas Great Again is on Apple Music also. He downloaded it earlier today.
There you go.
Todd said amen to not ordering from Amazon. We got you, Todd. We got you. Show starts at 9, and we got you starting at 9. We'll be back tomorrow. Hang out with us. Cameron Smith is in next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.